Hello, welcome everyone. Sorry for the delay. We have some issues, but we are back now. So we have right now Resident Evil 1 Remake, and we have the awesome Flex Raptor and Cruzman with us. They will be commentating today for us. You can take it over, guys.
Thank you very much, Eris. Thanks for having us. It's an honor to be here. Hope everybody's
Yeah, it's
doing
great to
great.
be here. Yeah, it's
All right.
great to be here. I'm ready to watch some Resident Evil 1 HD Remaster runs. We have some fantastic runners here today. So we have the Little Sister, Foforiel, LeonhartKris, and KingWolf ESN. They're doing Jill normal, Jill hard, Chris hard, and Chris normal. Do you have anything to say about our runners, Chris, or Cruzman?
Yeah, we did watch a few past videos of theirs, and I think it's going to be really exciting runs. There's going to be a lot more extra safety calls, I guess you could say, as far as using the fuel canteen and uh, trying to avoid damage in that sense. So I really look
Yeah,
forward to seeing how these runs
absolutely.
turn out.
Yeah. Now, Cruzman, I understand you're a top level speedrunner at this game. Um, how are you interested to see the differences between a speed run and a no damage run?
Absolutely, I think that's what's going to make this really exciting. Trying to avoid damage. As we know, there's a lot of RNG in this game. We've got the dogs. They're going to have to play it safe on. Definitely the murder hall. There's going to be some different routes that are going to have to be taken. So
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be exciting. I'm stoked.
All right. So let's get these runners introduced to our viewers. So let's have them know who is running these games or this game.
Absolutely.
So first, I'm going to mention is Leonhardt Chris. He is doing Chris normal. He has 5 accepted runs on TeamHitless.com. His runs are a no-hit Resident Evil Remake, Jill Hard Best Ending. Also has a RE2R no-hit Claire first scenario and a Leon second scenario, achieving the true ending. And also a Resident Evil 3 Remake no damage any percent run. Second on this list we have is Foforiel. Foforiel is performing the hard difficulty for Jill. Foforiel is doing has done a Resident Evil 1 remake, no damage, Jill best ending, hard mode. A Resident Evil 2 remake, hardcore, no damage, Claire first scenario and Claire second scenario. Also Leon first scenario and Leon second scenario. And also Resident Evil 3 remake, hardcore, no save, no damage. So they have a total of 6 accepted runs on Team Hitless.
Wow.
Third on our list is very impressive, but we're going to keep climbing. Next on our list we have is the Little Sister, who has 15 total accepted runs and a whopping 4 world first runs. That is impressive. So their runs are in Resident Evil 1 Remake, Jill Any Percent, Jill Best Ending, No Hit, World's First. Also to mention that Little Sister is the very first person to accomplish a no-hit run on any category in Resident Evil Remake, and that is no easy feat. Also a Resident Evil 2 Remake, Hardcore No Hit, Leon first scenario, Leon second scenario, Claire first scenario, and Claire second scenario. Also achieving a no damage true ending run on RE2R. Also achieving a RE7 all bosses normal no damage world first. A RE1 classic no damage Jill worst ending. RE3 classic no damage, RE2R no hit, Claire first scenario, Claire second scenario. Also no damage for Leon A and Leon B. And last but not least, we're introducing is the great, let's see here, KingWolf ESN, who is doing Chris hard mode. So they have the most achievements, 17 accepted runs and 4 world's first runs. They have a hard difficulty, all 12 endings, no damage on RE1R. No damage hard 100% for Chris and Jill, both world first. RE1R no hit, Jill best ending, RE1R no damage, normal Jill, Chris, both being world first. All right, Cruzman.
Wow. Uh, Thanks for that, Flex. That was great to know.
Yes. So our card it's very stacked like a deck of cards, and this card is more prime than a steakhouse. So we have nothing but the best RE1R no hit, no damage runners here for you guys to see today.
It's going to be really exciting. Really looking forward
Yes,
to it.
this is going to be a phenomenal run. 4 top-notch players, 1 game. This is exciting. And not to mention, this is a how are we going to score this competition, Cruz?
How are we going to score it?
Yes, how will we score this?
I'm sorry. I guess I'm not understanding what you're implying there.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to ask about how this is going to be scored. I was going to let you run with the ball, but I know the rules too.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
So pretty much the idea of this, we're going to avoid any damage at all costs, hence the no damage run. You will be noticing them picking up a lot of self-defense items, such as the dagger. We have the battery, which serves as like a sort of taser. This will prevent any bites whenever we get grabbed. But one thing to keep in mind, these will not do you any good if you get bit from behind.
Yes.
So
So
that's
the back
another
grab
thing to keep in mind.
negate the effects of the dagger.
Yes. So, so just little extra things like that that usually I wouldn't use in my any percent runs. There's going to be a lot of differences in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of enemies can do a lot of different things, a lot of different RNGs. Players can even just space out and forget to even press the button for a dagger. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
different things that can happen, and tensions are high on these kind of runs, as you are familiar with Cruzman with your speed runs.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah, there's gonna be some good runs, and like I said, no run will be the same. Thanks to our lovely RNG with this game.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about no damage runs is there's an infinite number of ways you can do this as long as you're picking up those items in the order they need to be picked up in. There's no script, there's no time limit. Whereas, like in speed runs, typically you want to follow the best strats that world record holders are doing and the most optimal things. In no damage run, there's no time limits, so you can do whatever's most comfortable for you, whatever you prefer, and whatever works out best.
All right. Yeah. Believe we can start the countdown.
All right. I'll let
If
you
you
have the honor, Cruz, man.
Oh, you're gonna let me have the honor? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's see here. I wasn't told before on how do I just announce the countdown? How do we do this?
Oh yeah, just like going from 3 to go,
Three,
like
two,
3,
one,
2,
go,
1
basically.
go, or
Okay.
5, 4.
All
You
right.
know.
All right. Sounds
We'll
good.
do 3, 2, 1, go. I'll start it right now. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, fantastic. The players are off. They're choosing their characters of choice, and they're picking the difficulty that they are going to be performing for this run. Let's see the costume choices they have to pick. Hopefully, they got some. They're picking some scary costumes for Halloween for this Halloween event.
All right. We're starting.
All right. Here's the start of this beautiful game. Everybody's loading in. All right. Little sister off to a fast start, making quick work of this introduction.
Now, Chris's run, as you guys may know, It's going to be completely different. We're going to have to take some different. They're going to have to take some different routes to pick up some old keys because he does not spawn with the lockpick.
Absolutely, that changes things quite differently. Jill's route is more direct, and it looks a lot more familiar to what a speedrun would look like, although not extremely familiar. Chris's route is it takes a lot of planning in order to plan that one out.
Yes, and
A lot of
also,
detours, a lot of
correct.
backtracking, because Chris's inventory is 6 items, Jill's inventory is 8 items, so that plays a giant factor in how many times you need to visit an item box, how many items you can pick up, what strategies you need to be doing at any point in time. Oh, we see Little Sister use that statue to their advantage.
Oh, we got a first hit on Leonhardt here.
Oh, that's a 1 for Leonhardt. That zombie was staring at Chris's neck like how you stare at a buffet when you're hungry. All right, we have Little Sister opting to take out the graveyard zombies. So there's 2 zombies in that graveyard. They have I believe 30 rounds of pistol ammo.
I like this move by KingWolf and well, really by all of them. They seem to be doing the same thing, but these zombies are really dangerous. You can. There's a chance you won't activate the naked zombie, but the other zombie will be towards that opening where he's running in right now, where KingWolf's running in.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
King Wolf
sometimes
was
it's really tough to see the zombie.
hugging the right wall, and if you hug the right wall enough, that zombie over to the far left will not activate.
Yes, correct.
So that's a little way to save ammo, so he doesn't have to take out both zombies. All right, now they're opening up the Book of Curses. We have 2 players, Little Sister and King Wolf, both opening up at the same time. We have Foforiel just going through the murder hall right now. Now I'm going back. Foforiel with a pause. Little Sister with a pause also. Now you see King Wolf. What he's doing right now is he went to unlock that door so that key usage could be burned up. So whenever you use up all the usage for a specific key, like the sword key or the armor key, it will deplete that key from your inventory, opening up a space. So maybe that is what he's doing, is he's using up all the potential doors for that key right now.
Yes. Yeah, it's very important to do that too, because you're just not going to have enough room if you don't burn some keys and
Right,
do
especially
stuff
with
like
Chris with
that.
the limited inventory space.
Yeah. And another thing that throughout this run, you'll be noticing they'll have to pick up quite a bit of ammo, pistol ammo
Absolutely.
in particular.
So you see Mr. King Wolf going into the kitchen area, which in speedruns, this area is almost never visited this early on.
Yeah, it's usually a later thing, especially for like Jill Lenny if you're running Jill. Usually don't
But
have to
there
worry
are,
about this area until later.
one thing to mention is that there are 5 old keys throughout this mansion. So in the speedrun, we pick up 3. So it would be very wise for runners to route out their key pickups in order to find like the different keys that will give them the most amount of success in going through the mansion, like the ones that are most safe to pick up and less perilous.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, we see LeonhartKris opening up the Book of Curses right now. Foforiel is paused.
Ooh, nice shot by Little Sister. Nice
Little
crit there.
Sister has, yeah, fantastic. So Little Sister went and picked up that the regular shotgun. which is much more direct in the Jill route because you do not have to pick up the broken shotgun, unlike what KingWolf is doing right now. He has to backtrack, and not backtrack, but go all these extra rooms, and then pick up this broken shotgun. So it is much more, there's much more routing involved in that case.
Yes, there is.
Oh, little sister with the doing a back dodge. So there's two types of controls in this game. There's original controls and there's alternate controls. You can dodge zombies. You can use techniques to dodge zombies using either one. So with the alternate controls, they're used with a control stick. So like the control stick on your Xbox One controller or your PS4 controller. And the original controls are used using the run button, which is either the X button on Xbox or a square button on PS4, and you'll use that in combination with the D-pad. So the original controls, you can just back up from a zombie, and alternate controls, you can circle around in front of a zombie, and then you can easily get a dodge that way, although not guaranteed.
All right, sorry guys. Foforiel had some technical issues because he wasn't using the door skip, and he will be like very behind from
Far
you.
behind? Yeah.
But he's cool now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, one thing to mention about this game is that there's a mod on PC version called Door Skip mod. So Door Skip mod allows for the doors to go from 7.6 seconds, which will take the load with the door, to 2.2 seconds without a door, saving about 23 minutes in a speed run.
Yeah, it's
So
a
no
big deal.
damage. Yeah, so in a no damage run, you go through more doors, and so that as you can know, that time will just only keep adding up because you're going through more doors.
Yeah. Yeah, what is it? Around 7 seconds, 7 or 8
Yeah,
seconds per door
about
flex.
7.6 seconds for a door, and then
Yeah.
on door skip it's about 2.2 seconds.
That's why we say in a normal run, it's we pretty much call that a dead run. Yeah, you accidentally open the wrong door, it's pretty much a dead run.
Absolutely. And to give people perspective of how many doors there are in this game, in a Chris any percent run, there are 261 doors, and in a Jill any percent run, there's probably around 250 doors. So that's a lot of doors, and at 7.6 seconds a door, that's a lot. Yeah, and that's just the any percent run.
That is a lot. All right, so KingWolf's picking up the chemical.
LeonhartKris is running through that diner.
Yeah.
I'll let you go, Cruz.
Oh yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, he's gonna push the statue. This will get him another item. So.
Absolutely. One thing to note is that there is a zombie that spawns in this room. Typically, he is on the right side of that balcony, where not on the side of those doors. But once you enter that room to get the broken shotgun, that specific room, for some reason, he spawns on the other side near the doors. So you have to keep in mind that once you go through that door to get that broken shotgun, he's going to spawn near those doors. So don't run into him. It's muscle memory for speedrunners to run down on that left path, but you got to take the long way around after he spawns up there.
Yeah, and it's real easy. As you guys are aware of the angles in this game, that's another tricky thing. The angles can make or break runs as well.
Absolutely.
That's why we refer back to. Well, we get asked all the time, what's best to use? Tank controls, alt controls. What do you use? Well, the correct answer is both, depending on which angle you're at. But this will be more of a preference thing per runner.
Yeah. Yep. So runners will build up over time. As you play the game so much, you're going to build up a preference for, and you'll kind of know, okay, I'll use the tank controls in one room. I'll use the alt controls in another room. It's more favorable to get around this zombie using tank, more favorable to get around this zombie using alt. So you kind of build up that kind of knowledge just based off of how much you play.
Okay, now Fofo did get hit, it looks like. He is in pause. I did see her hurting a little bit.
Okay. Oh, and one thing to note is KingWolf just used the lighter fluid on one of the zombies. So if you burn a zombie, it does not. Why we burn the dead zombies is because after about a set amount of time, it depends on difficulty, the zombies will come back to life as Crimson Heads, which are a much scarier version of a zombie, a much faster and dangerous version. So burning those zombie bodies will make them disappear completely and not be a factor anymore.
Yeah, and it's it's very crucial in this run to do that because we're going to be noticing they'll be doing some backtracking and a lot more different types of backtracking than just say a normal any percent run. So
Right.
as time goes on, just like Flex said, they will eventually wake up, and it's not so pretty when they do because they are fast and they are great at running runs.
Absolutely. And Leonhardt has less time. The hard mode runners have less time to deal with this because I believe it's about 5 to 15 minutes is how long they have before they wake up. And then on normal, it's between, I believe, 15 to 30.
Yeah.
And the way you burn zombies is you use a lighter, which Chris has in his inventory automatically. It's up in that extra spot in the top right. So that's nice for Chris, is that he doesn't have to have a inventory space occupied by a lighter. While Jill, she does. She doesn't naturally carry around a lighter. And so one of her 8 slots is going to be occupied by that lighter. And so you use a lighter and you use a canteen found in one of the safe rooms. And you need fluid in order to fill up that canteen. And then you use the canteen and the lighter on the zombie and it burns.
Oh wow.
There's a lot that goes
Sorry.
into it.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Flex. I noticed
fine.
Leonhardt got a headshot there. I believe
Massive headshot.
it's a 6 out of 10 chance after the first shot, so that's pretty awesome. So he
Yep,
won't have to burn that zombie.
Yep, there's a 6 out of 10 chance, and the very first usage of a shotgun on a zombie will decap if it's aimed at the head. So that's very convenient for the player, is knowing that very first round will result in a decapitation.
Yes.
So that can help with the strategy and what zombies you need to take out.
Reduce amount of times you have to fill up your fuel canteen as well.
Absolutely, because the fuel canteen you can fill it up twice, and each time you fill it up, you get 2 usages. And in this particular mansion, there's 2 of these canisters. So you get 2 usages, 2 times per usage, and there's 2 canisters. So there's 8 total usages of this canteen throughout this first mansion. So you have to use it very wisely and pick out the zombies you want to take out. You can't just be using it on every single zombie, or else you're gonna be running into some zombies where it might be a little bit perilous to where you cannot use that canteen.
Okay, so KingWolf did just take a hit. Like we said before, the RNG is awful out on the dog balcony. It's really hard to tell what the other dog's going to do. So he managed to kill the first dog, but the other one ran up behind him.
Oh
And
yeah.
he
So
did
yeah,
get
there is
tagged.
a chance that the second one will just run up on you, because they're very fast and they're hard to predict. Sometimes the dogs might stop in their tracks. Sometimes they might just keep fully sprinting at you. So yeah, big reset point for both speed runners and for no damage runners. So as we saw, LeonhartKris just took out the dog perfectly in a well fashioned. So what he did was he slid off to the side, beside the corner, and he aimed his shotgun at the dog. As the dog was running, as he was intersecting that corner, he fired a shotgun, stunning the dog, and then shot him again. So why he was behind that corner is because the dogs, when they're running straight, they can do a jumping attack or they can leap at you. Whenever he's around a corner, the dog needs to turn 90 degrees. And with how the movement works in this game and how the enemy AI works in this game, that's a very difficult thing for a dog to do, is to be able to track you around a corner. So that was a very smart move to be able to just hide around that corner and aim that
Yeah,
shotgun.
you're right, Flex. It is a great move, and it prevents that dog from doing that long lunge, which is
Absolutely.
also really bad.
Yes, it's
Knocks you
hard
down to
to
the floor.
react to that on time. So we got everybody all over the place, which is phenomenal. We see LeonhartKris taking as the safe way, taking the long route around to avoid the murder hall. So in that murder hall, there's 2 zombies there and a crimson head that spawns after you pick up the armor key. So avoiding all of those enemies is it's just it's well worth the long route around.
Absolutely. We'll see what KingWolf's going to do here.
KingWolf. Oh, so one thing to
Nice.
note is that if you shoot a zombie in the leg with a shotgun, it will fall to the ground.
Oh, we had a
little
death
sister.
here.
Oh, little sister just got taken out.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. As we know with Jill, she has 960 hit points while Chris has a whopping 1400. So it's a lot easier if you take a couple grabs for Jill to just die.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
Yeah, I hate to see it. Yeah. And in some cases, Jill will do a slower running animation even after a double bite, which is where a zombie grabs you and takes 2 bites instead of 1 on the neck.
Okay, but they did make a save point.
All right, so they made a save point, thankfully, so they don't have to reset from the very beginning. One thing about this game is that there's no checkpoints in this game. You have to manually save every time you want to save. So if you happen to die or lose your run, then you got to go all the way back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like in speedruns, like there's a part at the very end, or it can just end at any second, and if that character happens to die, you know, you're not saving your run, so you got to go all the way back to the beginning.
Leonhardt's playing it safe here. I don't blame him. Nice headshot by KingWolf.
All right, let's see what our counts are at. LeTheLittleSister is at 2 hits. Foforiel is at 2 hits, and Leon is at 1 hit. So KingWolf is currently leading the pack right now. And with those 4 worlds first and 15 verified runs, that experience is paying off for sure. Especially in this game, they've done 17 verified runs in 4 world firsts, and primarily in this game. So all that experience in this game is paying off big time for KingWolf.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we need 1 hit on KingWolf there. KingWolf has been hit once by the dog.
Oh, okay, just a dog tag. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Leonhardt's going to go ahead and get these shotgun shells. Pretty crucial there.
Yep. So he picks up that blue gem. That's from that statue he pushed off the balcony, and that gives you 6 shotgun shells.
Right, so
one thing.
unfortunately, sorry for cutting you up, guys. Unfortunately, we have some issue with Little Sister because she died and she doesn't have a save state in the part she died, so he's gonna just load the save state for the after picking up. Before picking up the last mask of the game.
Okay, thank you for that.
All right. So as we were saying before, Leon is getting those shotgun shells, and there's a very limited amount of shotgun shells on hard mode. So I believe that Chris gets 60 throughout the game, and throughout this very first mansion, there's only two sets of 6 shotgun shells. So there's only 12 extra shotgun shells. He has the 6 that he starts out with the shotgun, and then you get 12 additional ones throughout this first mansion area. So with all these zombies running around, you really have to space out your shotgun shell usage for Chris on hard mode for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very important. Oh, we got another hit. Fofo, the dogs are not being nice today. I feel that pain
No,
about
absolutely not.
100% of the time.
And Fofo goes to pick up the dog collar, but their inventory is full.
Okay, we got 2 hits now. 2 extra hits on Fofo.
Man, so it's very important to have that there's an inventory slot empty at that fight so you know you can pick up that dog collar, or else you're gonna go to pick it up and then it's gonna cancel out. And then there's another dog chasing after you, and you got to pick it up again. You got to get an item out of the way. It's just, it
Yeah, easy
is.
heal up there. Heal up there though. That's the good part.
Yeah, that's a good part, is that those green herbs off to the side allow for 3 usages, and they will provide a full heal for each usage.
Those dogs are grumpy today. They did not get any treats, I don't think.
Yeah, they're hungry. They're staring at Chris and Jill like they're a buffet.
Jill sandwich.
That's right. All right, so Leon is in the music note room, and that is a very tricky room for speedrunners and no damage runners alike. So his strategy was to take out the very first zombie in that hallway. And what happens if you don't take that zombie out is he will open that door and spawn in that room. So you got to deal with 2 zombies, and you got to dance around 2 zombies, and that's very perilous for a no damage, no hit runner,
Absolutely.
especially in a small space like that.
KingWolf's putting up the mask. Thanks
Foforiel dropping
again
off.
to everybody for hanging out with us. It's an awesome event so far.
Yeah, glad to be here. Glad to celebrate Halloween with Team Hitless for watching this beautiful game.
Absolutely. Okay, KingWolf is in the bug room. He's going to be getting the item to unlock the Magnum later on in the game.
Yep, so this is the bug puzzle, which you need to switch the golden, I guess, moth and the bronze moth, and that opens up a secret, like picture frame, and that gives you access to an item called a wind crest, which, as Cruz mentioned, you will use later on to get a magnum, which is a very powerful weapon and very useful for that extra ammo.
Yes. Now this scene doesn't count for hit. It's
Yeah,
just
because that is a cutscene. It is not gameplay. So that bee flying around is a very scary part of a no damage run, because you're just flying around, you think it's gonna sting you, but if you just run straight to the item and then run out of the room, that the bee doesn't have time to catch up to you. KingWolf making another save room trip, dropping off the wind crest. So one thing to note about hard mode is that the item boxes are linked. So if anybody has played Real Survival, they know that the item boxes do not carry over from one item box to another. So if you drop off an item in one item box, you have to go back to that same specific item box in order to pick up that specific item you dropped off. On hard mode, every single item box has every single item that you drop off. So they're all linked together. So you can freely drop those items off.
Yeah, Real Survival is a pretty rough mode in that sense, because there's already a lot of backtracking in this game, as we all know. So
Yeah, there's already a lot of backtracking that these players are doing, even on normal hard mode. So Little Sister just got hit by Lisa. That cutscene doesn't count because it's a cutscene that is scripted. It's going to happen no matter which game mode you play on. Even on New Game Plus, that's going to happen. There's no avoiding it. Now, this Lisa dodge is extremely tricky to do.
it is.
It was one of the big spots that. Oh,
Yep.
did they take damage?
Yeah, Little Sister did take a hit there.
Yep, it's hard to do because if you
It's
run
tough.
up those, you could run up those stairs, but Lisa could still catch up to you. You could try to fake her out, but Lisa can not budge and not swing at you.
Yeah.
You can try to run past her, but you might backswing. There's a number of things she could do, and you just got to make the right call.
Absolutely. And another thing, Leonhardt just passed the yawn area. Meant to mention, if you do get hit there, you will have to go back to the serum room,
Yep.
which
So there's
is
extras. Yeah.
yeah,
Extra time, extra zombie dodges.
right.
Yeah. Yep. And speaking of Lisa not wanting to activate her swing, that's one thing that zombies can do in this game that makes it so difficult. Is that sometimes there's single lunges, double lunges, and sleeper zombies in this game. So sleeper zombies don't lunge at you, even if you get right in their face. They won't try to grab you, which can be very confusing because that might be part of your strategy is to bait out an attack, but then if they don't grab, that goes against your strategy. They can single lunge, which is where you get in front of their face and they try to grab you, you back up, you run past them. Double lunge is where they grab at you, you dodge it, but then they just sneak in a second grab just instantaneously without you expecting it as you're running past, and you get grabbed. So that's
Yeah,
totally RNG. There's nothing you can do about it, and that's what makes this game so difficult to do a no damage, no hit run because of those factors that you're just not expecting and are just totally out of your control.
absolutely. We have a hit on the little sister as well. She did get hit by the dog once. It is very important to take out those dogs, which she did, because we'll be going
Yeah,
back through that area more than once. So
yeah,
very
that dog
crucial.
area is very hard because some players, what they do is they'll stand and they'll take out all the dogs at once, but some players will take out one dog at a time, go back through the door in order to reset the dog's placements, and then take out another and then reset the dogs. So it's just up to the player, up to the preference. But I have noticed that it's easy for the dogs to gang up on you in that area, and um, if you aren't fast enough with your shots, then it's easy for one dog to take a bullet and then the next dog to sneak up and grab you.
Absolutely, it is. It really is. Um, Usually don't have to worry about those snakes dropping down where little sister's going through. Just run straight
Yeah.
through them. You'll be fine.
Yep.
We have
Those
a
snakes are
question in
called.
chat, Flex.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
What's the question?
Lurking Llama says, are they resetting when they get hit or just whoever has the least hits?
Okay. So in this particular run, everybody is going through full game. If they get hit, they have to carry on, and it is a competition between who can take the least amount of hits. If the number of hits are tied at the end of the run, so let's say one runner has 4 hits, another runner has 4 hits, it's the runner who finished faster will be at a higher ranking.
Correct. And we see the little sister pushing this box. Well, if you go the other way, you will get hit by the Plant 42 tentacle, and that does count as a hit. So that's
Yep.
why
So
you see her.
there is a small gap in the floor where the Plant 42 tentacle is just hiding there because this plant is sprouted out all across this house. So it's pretty much everywhere. It's not just in one room. So it can reach up through that hole and grab you. And I know in the original RE1, it does about 4% of the player's health for each grab. So I don't know if that is true in this game, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. And it would be very disheartening to lose a no hit, no damage run to something that causes very little damage.
Yeah, it takes around three, I think, 3 or 4 hits from that thing to go down to like another. I say next level. So say you're fine. Next
Yes.
level below that would be yellow caution, right? So
Yep. Yep.
it
So
takes
yeah.
around 3 or 4 hits on that thing. It takes a lot.
Yeah. So the health levels in this game go from red, orange, yellow, and then green. So red is danger, orange is orange caution, and that is where the player, their animation is different. They start running slower. Yellow, you're in caution, but you're still running at the same speed as fine, and then fine is, or you're in fine. And then Chris has 1400 health, Jill has 960 health.
Yeah, big difference there, honestly.
Yeah, big difference.
much more of a tank. He also has better crits.
Yep. Yep. So that plays into the strategy a lot. Is Chris may have less inventory space, but he carries the lighter naturally. Not naturally, but it's just there in his inventory at the start. He has more health. He has a higher crit rate with his handgun. The crit rates with a handgun is about 1 in 10. And with Jill, that's going to be slightly less because she has a lower crit rate.
Okay, so we see KingWolf leaving the piano room, and the reason he does this is you got to give that cutscene enough time for Rebecca to play that wonderful Moonlight Sonata we know.
Yes.
But you have to give her enough time. I believe Flex and I discussed about this. I think it's like 3 doors. 3
Yes.
doors
So
and
you
then
have
a
to
space
go
move.
through the piano room door, and then speedrunners go back through the dining hall door, and then back to the main hall. Then they go back through those 3 doors again. So about 6 doors, 3 doors out, and then 3 doors back.
Correct.
Seems to be the minimum.
Okay. So I did notice the little sister did pick up the self-defense gun, which
Yeah.
but there's only one. So
Yeah, so that self-defense gun does 9,999 damage, which is the maximum amount of damage that an item can do in a game. But there's only one usage of it, and if you use it, it's gonna carry around. You're still gonna carrying that item around in your inventory. So that's part of the strategy. But another thing to note about the self-defense gun is that it doesn't do 9,999 damage to every single enemy. And it will also only do that to one stage of an enemy. So certain enemies like Plant 42 have 2 stages. So it might do that damage to one stage, but not to another. And also other enemies, okay, so enemies have different hit point values, but also the amount of damage taken by certain weapons varies by enemy. So think about it like Pokemon, right? So one enemy might be weak to an assault shotgun, but they might be resistant to an acid round. But then another enemy, it might be the other way around.
Yep. Yeah, very well said, Flex. Okay, so we've got little sister. She is going into the Neptune room here. She is going to use
Yep.
the self-defense on the first shark, I believe. We'll see.
Yep. So these sharks each have 1,000 hit points. There's a boss shark called Neptune who has 4,000 hit points. The reason why they are leaving and going back is because after an extended period of time, that boss shark Neptune, who is at the bottom of the water, will rise up out of the water and try to eat the player that is running across the catwalk.
We got
So yeah,
Leon here getting chased by the Elder. Come on,
yep.
Leon.
The Elder Crimson is a very difficult boss. It has between 23,000 and 5,600 hit points. About 6 regular shotgun shells will take him out. Yeah, I believe that Chris and that Elder fight is probably one of the hardest parts of a no damage, no hit run. Because of
Easily.
that small arena, fast enemy. You got to use 6 shells. It's a tough go.
Yes, it is. Okay, so now these numbers, we kind of joke about it in chat, 1, 2, or 3, because it's randomized every single time where the little sister's at. But you can check that board, and that will give you the correct number.
Yes. There was an April Fool's joke done by a speedrunner known as Bashy Cake, who posted on YouTube that you could look at the smoke in like in the area prior, and the way the smoke is like flowing, you'll be able to tell which one it is. But if you look at
Yet
the
people
YouTube
know.
post date, it's April 1st. So
I was going there for a little bit. I'm like, man, I don't know.
yeah. At first I was like, really? Then I was like, I don't know. All right, so we see Fofo messing with that box. So you got to open up both sides of that box in order to fully open that box. So that's very tricky for new players just to realize that you got to open up both sides. to get that mask. LeonhartKris is on those wind vanes. Those wind vanes are scary for speedrunners.
Yeah, it's another thing. It's just all RNG. It's just depends on how windy it is outside the Spencer Mansion, you know.
Right. It's a windy night, and if you mess the direction that you need to point the dog in, then it costs about 10 seconds to reset it, and you got to watch the whole animation of the dog going into place, and it's a whole ordeal. So as we see, Leonhardt, he's putting in the puzzle pieces for the Magnum. So if you do this puzzle, if you do this puzzle incorrectly, which could happen by just you not pressing those buttons on the back that he's pressing right now, it will trigger the crows to come down and attack you, and that'll be automatic damage. So you have to be very careful with this area. You also have to be careful not just sprinting through the area too, because those crows can leap out and grab you too.
Okay, little sister is playing it safe. I don't blame her. There are two options. You can electrocute Neptune, or you can take one step forward and then move to the left. But it's crucial to take that one step forward, because if you don't, you're going to get caught up on that corner every single time, and he will eat you. You'll be shark bait.
Absolutely. Yep, Neptune has 4,000 hit points, and some of the commonly used weapons in this area are the assault shotgun, which will do 350 damage to Neptune, so about 12 usages. And the Magnum, I believe, does about 400 damage, which is shockingly a little bit lower than
Yeah, you wouldn't think that,
than
would
what
you?
you would expect. Yeah, but that's part of it. Is like I was saying, some of these enemies have resistances, some of them have weaknesses. So the Neptune might be more resistant to the Magnum than other enemy types in the game. So so knowing that, you wouldn't want to use 10 rounds of Magnums on 10 Magnum rounds on Neptune. You'd probably want to use a more prevalent ammunition type. So you'd probably want to use something like a shotgun on it if you were to use ammo on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so this is another thing coming up for the little sister. We were in the bee part, so she is going to use that bug spray on those bees. That's the only way we can retrieve this key.
Yes,
And
this
yeah, there are different times. It could range anywhere from 2 to 8, or around 2 to 8 from my understanding. Maybe 2 to 6.
Yeah. So the animation there is random, and I guess there's faster animations and slower animations, and you can just get a different time based on how fast that animation goes.
He had a pretty fast animation there.
Yeah, it's a big meme. It's a big meme that a lot of runners and viewers like to call attention to. They like to say bad bees whenever it's slow, or slow bees. But yeah, it can make or break a run for sure with that 6-second time difference between the fastest and slowest possible animation. All right, so we got KingWolf on the puzzle for the Magnum. So it looks like everybody's getting that Magnum.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty crucial part in this run in particular. It's definitely, I think it's almost a requirement for the no damage.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be realistic with it and play it safe, because there's just
Yeah,
too much RNG in this game.
You want to play it safe as possible, and then you get 18. Well, on hard mode, you get 6 shots from the initial Magnum, and then you have 2 packs of 6 ammo that you get throughout the game on hard mode. And on normal, I believe you get, I want to say 3, maybe possibly, or 2, but I don't know, 2 or 3. You have a very limited amount of usages, but those usages are important because they will one-shot dogs and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, taking out the plant. That's good.
And I didn't see any hits there. Good job to the little sister. That's actually a really dangerous area. You can get whipped. You can get poisoned. You got poison pods in the corner there, in the top left corner, and you got a poison pod close to this middle of the staircase. So it's
Yeah.
you're very prone to damage in this area, and Little Sister did a great job. So GG's to the Little Sister for that.
Yep. So like, there's one small spot at the top of the staircase that you can stand, and you'll avoid the acid, but you won't be able to avoid the swinging vine. So you have to listen for that, and also the plant will be off screen, so you got to keep that in mind too. The opening, so you got to listen. There's a lot of audio cues, a lot of visual cues in that fight. You got to pay attention for. So if you're speed running or no damage running, it's nice to make a save there and practice.
Yeah, and it does take it only takes 3 flame rounds for the plant, but you have to make sure that it's open.
Absolutely, because if you fire at a closed plant, then you will just be wasting your ammunition.
Okay, this is interesting. KingWolf is using the safe strat here on Lisa. He did 1 mag shot just to push her back. So that's another strat.
Yeah. So with Lisa in that cabin fight, you can use, I believe it's, what is it, 1 or 2 magnum shots on her. You can also use, I believe, 3 or 4 shotgun shells in order to down Lisa, so Lisa will just fall down after that. And what you can do with that is you can just bring out the shotgun, bring out the magnum, and just spam, aim, and fire. And she won't be able to hit you. She won't be able to get you in any way. Just aim and fire. As long as you're willing to use that ammo, you'll be good. She'll eventually fall down, and you'll be able to run fast.
Oh, the self-defense item just saved Fofo there. Saved him from
Very
that's
nice.
why it's important, guys, to get self-defense items in these runs.
Yeah, I mean, it's recommended to pick up as many as you can. I believe that Jill has around 9 or 10 on normal. Chris also has about 9 or 10 of those daggers, and then Chris has the grenades, and then Jill has the stun guns. So Jill and Chris both have about 9 or 10 of those throughout their runs, and the difference is that the stun gun will stun the enemy, electrocute them, and do a lot of damage, and the grenade will, over time, it will pop, and the enemy will disappear.
Or you could shoot it and just take off their head.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the dagger does about 50% of an enemy's health plus 1. On the Elder Crimson, that's the case there. On zombies, I think it does more. But with the prototype Elder Crimson, it does 50% of his health plus 1 HP.
It's good to know. All right, Leon's getting the key.
All
And
right, they took out
Fofo's
the
getting the
hunter.
talk.
I believe they used acid rounds on the hunters.
Yes.
Yes, so acid rounds are the weakness of the hunters. So hunters have between 900 and 1600 hit points. The acid rounds do varying damages between the enemies, but they will do around 1400 damage on the hunters. So if the hunter just happens to have between 900 and 1400 health, which is randomized, it'll take them out in 1 hit.
Yeah, definitely the go-to for the hunters, and I don't blame the Little Sister at all for taking them out because it's almost a guarantee for a hit. It's just really tough.
Yeah, they're a very fast enemy. They can run up to you quickly and do a swipe. They can stun lock you, and they can do a charge attack. They can do all sorts of things to trap the enemy.
Yes.
And then they can jump up on the staircase. They can do parkour. They are all over the place. So they're just a scary enemy type to deal with. A lot quicker than the zombies.
They've got it all. Oh, we got a poison, but he did not get poisoned. KingWolf, yeah, that counts as a hit for
It is a hit,
KingWolf.
yes.
That is a very unlucky RNG, people. That rarely happens in that area, but it can happen, as we can see.
Yes. Okay. So I would like to also clarify the rules between no damage and no hit. So in no damage, you can use these self-defense items. So if you get grabbed, you use the item, it does not count as damage, but it will count as a hit, so a hitless run. it will count. But okay, but in the context of this, hits mean damage basically. So if someone takes damage, then that counts as their hit counter. But if you're doing a no hit run, then if you get grabbed, that counts as a hit.
And on top, we talked about. I think you said if you just burned a body and you stand over it, that could also possibly count as a hit as well for a
Yes,
no hit run.
possibly.
Yeah, it can
So
kind of get
essentially,
confusing between the two, but
yeah, essentially a no hit run is where you cannot use the defense items. So if you get grabbed, it's basically it. But in a no damage run, you're free to do that. You're free to use the defense items.
okay. Fofo just got hit once by a zombie.
Oh, yeah, that zombie by that night door he's hard to dodge because there's a camera angle switch there, and he could be on one side of the hallway, and it's a lot.
That's the beautiful angles we talk about.
Yep.
They're not fun sometimes.
Yeah, they're not fun. Like it gets mixed reviews. Like some people like them, some people don't, but um, they definitely take some time to getting used to. But once you get used to them, it basically plays like any other game for you.
Yeah.
You don't even really notice them after enough playthroughs. It's just the game at that point. But yeah, these camera angles are basically part of like why like tank controls are important, because if you hold down on the tank control and you keep running, even if a camera angle changes and you keep holding the same direction, the character will keep running the same direction even if the camera angle changes. So they won't, if you're holding up and the camera angle changes and then all of a sudden your character is to a side view, even if you keep holding up, that character is still going to keep running straight and not run in a northern direction.
Exactly. Yes. That's why tanks are beautiful for that. All right. Little sister decided to take out the murder hall zombies, which is a
That is
good
a
move.
smart play because you go through that murder hall multiple times.
Not only do you have a crimson, but you've got two other zombies that you get to deal with.
Yes. Now that hallway has a advantage of there being two mirrors or three mirrors nicely placed where the zombies could be at. But that still doesn't cover every single angle, still doesn't cover the RNGs of them, doing no lunge, single lunge, double lunge. So playing it safe is the best bet there.
Absolutely. Every single time.
Yeah. And if you play the game enough times, you'll know that some of those zombies can spawn on one side of the hall, then on the other side of the hall near like the other door, and you never know where they're at. And then with like all the camera angle changes, it's like they grab you. It's like, oh, surprise!
Yes.
All right, so little sister taking out Yawn using, I believe, 4 acid shells. So
It was
Yawn is
5.
weak.
It was 5.
5 acid shells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually I shoot the yawn with the grenade shells, but I know this run is very different compared to the Any. So there's different item management that has taken place throughout
Absolutely.
the run.
Absolutely. And at this part of the game, with how like the items are routed, you have a pretty tight inventory. So as Yawn can be taken out in 4 acid rounds because it's weak to it, it might be wise to use all 5 acid rounds to have that extra space open.
Absolutely. Good job by Fofo there. He was hitless on the Elder Crimson. GG's
Fantastic. That
for
is
Fofo.
a difficult feat to manage. Although it seems like it's easy. A lot of things in this game look easy, but trust me, they aren't. They can go wrong and go south real fast.
Oh yes, they can.
Like you can hit an iframe on an enemy and miss your shot, and a lot of different factors at play.
I remember, I think it was about 4 nights ago, I had a shot on that Crimson and, like you mentioned iframes and, it didn't even phase him. So you'll have instances like that too where it's just a little surprise.
Mm-hmm. All right, Leon going through to get the spray. We got Fofo going to the shed. We got King in the lab, or not the lab, but the underwater puzzle. And we have Sister in the room where they're getting the box puzzle gem. So everybody's at different parts of the run. So that was the one thing I was mentioning at the very start, was how no damage runs, no hit runs can be routed differently, so everybody can go at their own pace. If this was like a speedrun race, everybody would be doing the same strategies, the same routes, everybody would be about in the same area. So with this, everybody's all over the place, so it's very interesting to see.
It is. It's fun to watch. You're really usually not gonna get the same run with, depending on which runner is, doing the
Yeah,
run.
because everybody's different, everybody has different strategies, different preferences, so.
Okay, so KingWolf is gonna electrocute him.
Plus, a lot of the times, these runners I think a lot of them have done world first runs, so they've had to create their own routes and create their own strategies. And if you look on
Yeah, it's impressive.
teamhitless.com, there's not a ton of players. So these players are part of the few who have happened to be successful in these categories and have done these no damage, no hit runs. So that really is a testament to how hard these runs are if there's very few people doing them.
Absolutely, a lot of, heart and soul towards a game to be able to, put that much time in and, figure out your own routes and, yeah, hats off to these runners. It's just it's an honor to be here. And,
It truly
Resi
is.
community is just an awesome community, so, yeah,
I
hats
mean,
off.
and not only that, the heart and soul, but they also have to put a lot of their mind into it. They got to have a lot of mental strength in order to play these games, and there's a lot of just stress that goes into them and a lot of pressure when it's boiling down to the very end of the game, um, where you get very nervous towards the end if you have a good run going on. Imagine being like an MLB pitcher and you're trying to throw a perfect game. That's what these guys are doing. Like, a lot of people are just trying to go out there and win the game. These guys are trying to throw a perfect game.
No hitter, yes.
Yeah, no hitter essentially. These guys are trying to go all 9 innings without getting grabbed by zombies and bit and taking damage.
Okay, now this is very important on what's Foe doing. You can activate those crows, and they can count as a hit if you activate them. So that's why he's walking.
Yes. So one other strategy you can do with the crows is you can um, manually aim the shotgun towards the tombstone where you see the birds. You can shoot, and then the other set of crows will be triggered by the sound of the shotgun. You'll take out one set. The second set will fly towards you. Once they're on screen, you aim your shotgun up and you take them out. But I do not recommend that strategy, as I've used that in my runs and it seems successful. But if you are off with your timing of your shotgun, then those crows can get you.
Absolutely. And GG's to Leon Hart on the clean Plant 42.
Yes, that's very difficult, especially with that all that can go wrong in that area.
I've yet to see any recent hits. Everybody's doing
Yeah,
really well.
everybody is just trucking through right now. Little sisters in the caves. And the caves have a very scary part of the run coming up.
Terrifying is the word.
Yes, you guys will know it when you see it. KingWolf making his way through that book puzzle. Executes it flawlessly. And he's heading on to the Plan 42 fight. Looks like KingWolf has the Magnum equipped. So with Plan 42 and Chris's Magnum, it takes about 5 hits with the Magnum.
I like this move by Leon, eliminating that corner snake. Yeah, guys, so that corner snake, it can really really get you. That's a really tough route to do. It has to be pretty precise to avoid all these snakes. So that's
And
why
what he
you see him taking these snakes out.
Absolutely. And what he did with the snakes on the right-hand side was he baited out their swings, and he dodged them, and then he took the rest of them out. Another strategy you can do, performed by Carcinogen SDA on one of his runs, is he took an exact line where he ran all the way over from the very start of the gate, ran straight to the wall, ran parallel with the wall, and then he hugged that little corner, and then he ran one step over to the right, and then he ran straight down, and all the snakes were too slow to hit him. So there is an exact line that you can do where the character will be out of range for the snakes, and they will be too fast for the snakes to get you.
Yes.
But it is very tricky and takes a lot of practice.
Very tricky. It's about a coin flip on whether you're going to get poisoned or not as well. So, it was a clean Black Tiger by the Little Sister. It was really nice.
Yes. Did they get the instant lunge?
Yes, they did. I believe they did. Yes.
Absolutely. So there's a technique where you run 2 steps at the very start of Black Tiger, and Black Tiger will lunge and go all the way to the other side of the arena. And you can just run straight to the door and start knifing the webs as fast as you can. But you need to be fast because Black Tiger can turn around and spit poison at you or lunge at you again. So you have to be very fast in that area and very careful. There are a lot of different RNGs in that fight.
Bo got pretty good RNG there. He had one dog that barked instead of lunged. That was a good RNG. Clean dog section.
Foe working on the crank. That crank hitbox can be very tricky.
KingWolf
All
is
right.
playing it safe here. I don't blame him. It's a pretty bad angle.
Little Sister working on the statue room. Now this room is very tricky. There's no enemies in it, but with all the camera angles and camera changes, it can be easy to mess up this room in a speed run.
Yes, it can. Yeah, if you step on that the wrong way, it'll.
Oh, KingWolf with using those shotgun shells on those snakes, taking all of them
Ooh,
out.
that was close. He almost got hit there. Oh man, that was close. He didn't though. No
Just
hits.
eliminating all of them, taking no risks.
I don't blame him.
Love to see it.
Get him out of here.
So those small snakes are technically called adders. I learned that today.
Say that one more time.
Adders, ADDERS. That
Huh.
is the technical name for the snakes, the small ones.
I didn't even know that. Flex for the win. Okay, King's getting some extra shells. Leon is about to be close to the basement zombie.
So that basement is very tricky because you have 2 zombies coming in from 2 different sides of the room, and the camera angles always switch at the most inconvenient time for the player. So safety is the name of the game in that room. Safety is also the name of the game in this kitchen area too, because There's tight spaces, hard to dodge these zombies. And as you saw with the leg shot, the zombie is automatically downed. So he's able to freely run past after a leg shot.
Okay, we have a hunter that jumped down in front of KingWolf.
Pumping
No
more
problem
lead
for
into
him.
these zombies.
Yeah, no
Shot
problem.
another zombie. KingWolf making space in his inventory for items that he will get later on.
And that's another thing that we talk about, guys. It's not easy to remember to do that, to avoid any backtracking, having to go back to the storage unit, because it's just I think that's one of the most difficult parts is just knowing, hey, I got to put this up in the storage box right now, or hey,
Yeah,
I got this item
absolutely.
coming up next.
Absolutely, especially when you run as many routes as these runners do. I think all these runners have run several different routes, so it's easy to just think, oh, well, I did this in this run, and then without even knowing, you did something that you meant to do for a Jill run, or you do something you meant to do for a Chris run, and you're not even playing that character, or you're not even doing the specific ending that you're doing, or the specific difficulty. So you need to keep in mind what difficulty, what player, what type of run you're doing at all times, and where you're at in the run too, because it's easy to think that you're like, oh, I'm in this room, but then actually your brain just skipped ahead 10 seconds and you're a couple rooms down from where you thought you were, and
Correct.
it's a lot to keep track of. Yeah, so this is a run where you have to always be on point.
Until RNG says otherwise.
Yep, yep. 'Cause that's what makes it tricky is all the RNG and everything you got to remember. Now, as you can see with the little sister, what they were doing is they were making Lisa spawn in a different location that was more favorable to them. So what you can do is Lisa spawns in different areas based on which path you run down. So if you run down one path in the fork, she'll spawn farther down. But if you run down the right side in the fork, she'll spawn directly in your way. So knowing this, you can just run down the right side of the correct side of the fork that you want to run down, and then adjust your strategy accordingly. KingWolf going through that tricky basement. Leon taking on the snake now, taking on Yon 2. Using the shotgun, 2 shots, 3 shots. Backing up to avoid the lunge from the snake and doing 2 more shots. Three more shots on Yon. Backing up to avoid the lunge and eliminate him at 8 shots.
Very nice.
So with
Very nice.
the assault shotgun takes 8 shots exactly to take out Yon. Unless you hit an iframe, then it'll be 9. But very nicely done by him. Little sister making their way through the last portion of the caves. Fofo picking up the self-defense gun. I love how everybody's in different parts of the game. That makes it very exciting.
Oh yeah.
Hard to keep track, but very interesting and very fun to watch.
All right, so there will be snakes following the little sister here. As long as she keeps going, she shouldn't have any issues with it.
Yeah, they're not fast enough to catch her. So they pick up that item. One thing to mention is a lot of these items that they're picking up are very key and critical to use later on. If they happen to forget or not have enough space, then they would have to go all the way back from like an item box or a certain area and go all the way back to that area just to pick it up. So some of these items are halfway across the game. So if you run out of space or something, you got to backtrack halfway through the game just to get it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to make sure you're on point with your routing and you know what to pick up and when and all that noise.
And another thing to keep in mind on this bird, in the bird room where KingWolf is at,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't get that gem in time, it will lock and it won't allow you to get that gem. So that's
Yes.
another thing.
So if the eagle or whatever the bird is, if it's looking directly at the moose or the whatever is mounted at the wall, it'll lock and the player won't be able to grab it. Yeah.
I think it's a trophy buck.
The trophy buck, yeah. There's a lot of interesting stuff throughout the Spencer Mansion.
Oh yeah, if you ever just look at the pictures and the paintings, it's like, what am I looking at? You know,
Yeah, yeah. It's like
what is it?
there's a lot of interesting design choices that go into it. It truly is a marvel.
All right, he's got to turn on the lamp first, be able to see. And can get the
Fofo
emblem
work,
so he can put the Lisa's.
Fofo working on the box puzzle. That's always a fun part of the speedruns. Everybody loves box puzzle.
Yeah, it's a pain. Don't listen to him, guys. It's a pain.
Well, chatters they seem very excited for box puzzle. The speedrunner, however, is a little bored, but it does offer a nice break from being chased around by all the enemies. So Leon turning on the lamp, getting the items. One thing to note is if you don't turn on that lamp, the player character can't see in the room. So even if the player knows where the items are, they won't be able to grab them without turning on that lamp.
Yep, that's correct. Mr. Popper has a question for Mr. Proper 169 has a question for us. Who will finish the run on first place? Any thoughts? What's your thought, Flex?
What is my thought is anything could happen because the labs have a bunch of tricky areas and they have the Chimera. And there is the Nitro run. And the Lisa fight too.
I have the exact same thought, Mr. Proper. There's just
So
too much RNG.
you can never count your chickens before they hatch in this run because you never know what could happen at the end.
Yeah, and as he mentioned before, the nitro run is very, very important. You're
Yes.
only allowed a certain amount of steps and runs, or else you will blow up.
Yes. So depending on the difficulty, in normal mode it's about 5 running steps, 2 walking steps, and then on hard it's about 2 running steps, 2 walking steps. So people who aren't familiar with that mechanic will know when it happens because you'll see the player run and stop and walk, and then run and walk, and so you'll know it when you see it.
Okay, now the little sister's in a very, very difficult area right here. This is the Lisa
Yeah,
fight.
backed into a corner with Lisa there, but
Ooh,
dodging those
that was
back
close.
tentacles.
Good dodge by little sister there.
Yeah. So one thing to note about this Lisa fight is that with Chris, you have Wesker, who will fight with you with Lisa, and Lisa will spawn on the opposite side the platform. While with Jill, you have if you're doing any percent, you select no to not give Barry the gun back, and then Barry gets knocked off by Lisa, but you do not have him in the fight. So you will get the Magnum, but you do not have him to help fight Lisa, and she will spawn on the side closest to Jill at the very beginning. So that is one thing to note, is that with Jill, she can spawn over there if you choose to keep the Magnum.
So if you guys didn't know, Lisa is wearing her mom's face. I didn't know if you knew that, Chad, but
That is truly horrifying. And for anyone who doesn't know, Lisa is not a part of the original Resident Evil 1 game.
That is correct. That's another add-on.
Yep. So after the first go through of the mansion, you will just go straight to the courtyard and guardhouse. You will not have to go and run through the woods and go to the cabin in the original because it's not in the game. And then that Lisa fight is not in the game, so you would go straight from the caves to the labs, just instantly. In the original.
Very nice.
All right, little sister opting to use a grenade shell on the zombies. Typically, about one of those grenade launcher rounds will eliminate a zombie.
That or getting
It
back
won't.
up, right?
Yeah, basically just taking them out. But they will be there, and they aren't decapitated. So, if given enough time, they can result in being a Crimson Head later on.
Time, yeah. Oh, nice. Nice crit there by Little Sister. She will not have to worry about burning that zombie.
Fantastic.
You get it back up.
One thing we haven't mentioned in quite a while is the canteen. So what you can do is you can bring the canteen with you into the lab, and there is a canister of fluid at the very beginning. It's kind of by the first door.
Yeah.
So you can use that to fill it up and burn zombies. Oh, goodness.
All right, Leon's in Black Tiger.
Yes.
Here. Hopefully it goes well for him.
Ooh. All right, fighting Black Tiger. This is. Oh, whoa! What a strategy!
He's got the flamethrower out.
That is brilliant. What a maneuver. I have never seen that before. Using the flamethrower after Black Tiger just lunges like that.
That was
Typically what players do is they might wait for Black Tiger to lunge, then use a Magnum, and then 4 Magnum rounds will take out that Black Tiger. But by opting to use the flamethrower, her the posterior end of Black Tiger does not pop, and that abdomen releases acid that can hurt the player.
It looks like Arisario is taking the credit on that here.
Ooh, Ares with creating a new strategy. Or I wouldn't doubt it because Ares he's all over that board.
Oh, he's joking. It was a joke. Okay.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't doubt it. He's all over
rascal.
the board.
I would have taken credit to you, Arisario. I don't blame you.
All right, little sister taking out that zombie on the stairs. Interesting to note is that zombies on the stairs cannot grab. They can still damage the player. They'll basically just barf up their lunch at you.
Yeah, food sickness. He got bad food sickness. He ate something really, really bad the night before.
Yeah, he had some bad Chinese food or something, and the people in the labs too. It had a pizza and just wasn't good.
Yeah, it's expired.
Some expired milk.
He did blow off that zombie's leg. Did you see that? Or Little Sister did. Did you see that flex? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. So one thing to note is that if the head explodes, the zombie is no longer going to be around. But if you decapitate, or not decapitate, but if you blow off a leg, that leg will spawn back on when you go back into a room.
He'll just put his leg back on while you're in another room, and then
Yeah, he'll tape it. He'll use some Scotch tape and tape it back on.
Okay, Flex, we got another question from chat.
Sure.
Visit asks, what do you do with the flamethrower when the spider doesn't jump?
Okay, so there's 4 different RNGs in the room. So they're referring to one of the RNGs where the spider just kind of stays in place. Well, from my personal experience, I always use the Magnum rounds. So I imagine it would be kind of like a similar strategy if you were using a flamethrower. So you would just run behind the spider because the spider has different attacks, right? So it has like a stomping attack, lunging attack, poison attack. All those attacks, if you notice, are at the very front of the spider. If you're behind the spider, they cannot do that spinning attack. They cannot spit on you. They cannot lunge at you and hurt you. So it's safe to stay behind the spider, and then you can fire 3 rounds of Magnum rounds, and then go off to the side to avoid the poison being spit out of the black tiger from the end. You go off to the side, then fire the last round.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Or if you use the flamethrower, then there's going to be no acid spit out. So just use the flamethrower.
I completely agree with that.
Yep, and
because he has poisons and lunges visit that you have to avoid.
Absolutely. And another thing to note is that there's a second spider that spawns in the room. The technical name is the web spinner. I learned that today. And
I did too.
So, so the web spinner is like a small spider that spawns with Black Tiger. So if Black Tiger is eliminated, then you can leave the room and the web spinner will go away. So you do not have to take out both of those enemies, just the Black Tiger, as long as you leave the room. But if you don't leave the room, the web spinner will still be in there.
All right, so the little sister, she is getting closer to the end here.
Ooh, interesting. So we see Fofo on the keypad. So if it looks like Fofo is just kind of messing around, like they don't know the combination, it's because the combination is randomized. So the numbers for that keypad are 3, 5, and 6, and it's always going to be a random combination. So it can be something like 3, 5, 6, or 3, 6, 5, or 5, 3, 6. It's just a random combination, and you don't really know. And I don't know if there's a way to figure it out, if there's a note that tells you. But yeah, you just got to keep mashing and basically just open the door. And now they're mixing for the V-Jolt. So what they do is there's a red chemical, a yellow chemical, and these chemicals have different assigned values. So water has a value of 1, a red chemical has a value of 3, and a yellow chemical has a value of 6. If you see on the wall, on one of the walls, there's actually a formula written. So it says something along the lines of 1 plus 3, and then it keeps like 1 plus 6 equals 7, and stuff like that. And it'll basically tell you the solution to mix for that V-Jolt. So yeah, right there on the screen right now. You can see all those numbers. Yeah. King got hit?
Poisoned. Yeah, King got poisoned.
Oh no. How unfortunate.
That's what we're talking about, guys.
Yeah, there's 4 different
RNGs,
and yeah. So one thing to note is leaving the room and coming back in makes Black Tiger face the door directly. So if you get scared and leave the room, that Black Tiger can just instantly spit poison at you as you re-enter the room. That's one thing I found out myself. So just leaving the room and coming back, that's not, you have to face that spider head on, or else that might happen.
It's just one of those things. It's unfortunate, that the Black Tiger. There's a lot of RNG there. There just is, and it's gonna wants to do.
Yep, it's gonna ruin your day sometimes, but it's just going to happen.
That's actually my mistake. Whenever I said it, poison KingWolf, I didn't realize he was in yellow caution. It actually just brought him to orange caution. That's why you see the tummy ache. But I thought he got poisoned. That was my
So the slower animation where Chris is holding his stomach can be caused by poison, or by going into orange or red. The poison can happen at any stage. So if he's in green health and he goes to poison, then he will still have that slower animation because of the poison.
And Vatris with the raid. Thank you so much for that amazing raid, Vatris.
Yes, thank you. Party of, what is it, 13? Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so the little sister's about to finish up here. This is the final scenes. GG's little sister. 125-20. GG's.
125-20. So they started their run at a save state towards the end of the mansion, I believe. So that is not the official time, but from the time you saved, or not from the time you saved, but like whenever you play a game and you make a save, the time that it took up to that gets saved, and then it gets added on to the rest of the play.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the little sister, she didn't have any hits, I don't believe, whenever she started back up. I don't think she had a single hit after that, so pretty impressive.
That is very impressive. So they had, oh yeah, you're right, actually, because it took Jill 2 hits to die, and then it was basically a no-hitter after.
Yeah, so that was honestly really, yeah, good job, the little sister. Really impressive on no hits there after your startup
Yeah,
run.
yeah, little sister, the very first no-hit runner on Team Hitless for this game. They did Jill best ending and Jill any percent for both normal category or normal difficulty. So they were the very first one.
Okay, so KingWolf's still in, he still has a tummy ache, as we call it. It does slow you down, if anybody was curious.
Yeah, it slows you down. I think with Chris, the effect isn't as bad, but with Jill, it's definitely more noticeable.
It is noticeable, yes. It's more of like a walk.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you're in a speed run and that happens, as long as you don't go like minutes and minutes with that type of run, then it won't affect your time too much. But as long as you can get to like a heal or anything like that in a speed run, it's acceptable sometimes.
And we also have to remind ourselves, the main focus here is no damage. We're not doing this isn't like
Yeah, it's not timed in any way.
yes.
You can take your time, pause if you need to, catch your breath. All right, so we see Leon about to fight Lisa. That's always a scary moment. Going down into those, descending those staircases. You see
misses her
3 sets of.
mom.
What was that?
I said she misses her mom. I did the
Oh, the mother call. Yeah. But yeah, man, whenever you're descending 3 sets of long stairs and it's getting darker and darker each time, like, oh man, you know something scary is down in that basement.
And I think it's that, Phil, that honestly makes this Resident Evil in particular one of my all-time favorites. It's the atmosphere. It's just everything about it.
It's unmatched for sure. Like I always try to find new games to run, but I keep playing this one because there's not much out there like it. All right, so Leon's pushing the stone on the far left first. That is a strategy because yes, you can see Lisa jumped all the way over to the far left over there. So that means that she's farther away from Chris.
Yeah.
So if you do the statue on the bottom left first, which speedrunners do because you're closer to that one, then you do the one on the far right. Lisa will either jump over to the right or she will walk along the open space. So she's less likely to jump over.
Okay. Yeah.
So you don't want her walking along that space because you got to run past her to get to the other 2 pillars.
Yeah, good luck, huh?
Yeah. And she could swing you and hit you and knock you off the edge. And
The back shot.
Yeah.
People forget about the back hit a lot. She has those tentacles that shoot out.
Absolutely. And like, not only would your no-hit run be done, but your run in general could be done. Because when you're doing these runs, there's things called PBs, if people don't know. So PBs, like as people do with speed runs, it's their fastest time. And no hit, no damage runs, PBs are the lowest amount of times you get hit. And you want to work those those hits down until you get to 0.
Yeah.
So even if you're on PB pace, hit-wise, she could knock you off and ruin that.
Absolutely, and her hits are really, really strong.
They're strong. They'll knock you down like a stage of health.
Yeah, the whole stage. Yeah, so if you're fine with no hits prior, you're automatically going to go down to yellow caution. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah. With Jill, I've even had cases where I've been in perfectly fine and I got one hit and I'm knocked down to orange caution. So
absolutely,
it can be, it's something to look out for. And Chris is burning one zombie.
Yes, you will have to
Good
go back
strategy.
to this area.
Yeah, good strategy because you have to go back to this area a couple times. Going back to get more lighter fluid. Taking out the second one. But yeah, just making things as little risk as possible because that's what you want out of these runs is where you can say my route's taken very few risks.
Foe just got hit by the snake. That is one extra hit for Foe. It was that corner snake. That's why some runners choose to eliminate that snake. It's a really tough route to get by.
Yeah. You gotta run that line very specifically. And he's playing with Jill, I believe. So with Jill, it's harder to run past those snakes because she's a little bit slower than Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with Chris's faster running speed, it's easier for him to just go past those snakes before they even have a chance. As long as you take the right line.
Yeah, he is going to burn this zombie. I think that's the right move. Oh, he's got that spelled wrong. There he goes. Okay. Yeah, it's John, Ada, and then the next one, B2, will be Cell.
Yeah, so these codes are in the lab somewhere. You got to go through like a room and like watch an X-ray, or I don't really remember. It's been so long since I played this game casually, but you do like a certain number of steps and you get all these things. So like, casually, it's very hard to figure these codes out. So to a new player, it might take a while, but when you're doing a speed run, you can just go straight up to the Windows 95 computer and type them in.
And I believe there's a little Easter egg. Instead of Cell, you could put, what is it, MOLE? You got a little,
Yes.
tofu voice, is it?
Yes, in the original game, the code isn't Cell, the code is Mole.
Yeah.
Onto the keypad, he knows the code right away. See what KingWolf's up to. He's going back through. I think he just left the caves. So he's about to make his way to Lisa.
Yeah, Leon, he's had a really smooth run as well. He's only got one hit.
Yeah, one hit. So he's in the lead according to how this run is being scored. KingWolf at 4, Fofo's at 4 as well. Taking out the zombie.
I'd say
Very
it takes
smart
out the
strategy.
Chimera as well. Yeah, he's going to. Good.
Yeah, that Chimera is very tricky to dodge. It's only a a strategy that the advanced speedrunners will do is not taking out the Chimera because he's so tricky.
Very, very, very tough in that area, especially when you run back with the nitro, given that you're only allowed a certain amount of steps until you blow up. If you get hit by the
Yes.
Chimera, you're probably going to blow up. It's just a really tough spot. And he's got 3 different moves. He's got the ceiling move where he'll hang down and grab you, pull you up. He's got the charge move where he'll charge you or jump towards you, and then he's got the swing over the head move, which is the ideal RNG. So
Yes,
that's
and
like
not to mention the ceiling grab move will be an instant death if you do not try to break out of it or use a defense item.
yes. I think me personally, I've only survived that grab once, and I've been speedrunning for like 5 or 6 years. So
Yes.
yeah.
There are certain percentages for how often a specific move or grab will make the nitro blow up. They're on like some strategy guide that is out there somewhere, but I do not know the exact percentages, but there are exact percentages out there.
Yeah. All right, you see Leon, he is walking slow to avoid any kaboom.
Yeah, he's taking it very safe. You can get away with 2 steps. Or I think he's playing on normal, so he can get away with 5, but it's safe bet's just a walk.
Now, one thing we haven't mentioned a whole lot are the Mo discs, Flex.
Absolutely.
There are 3 Mo discs that we need to get for Chris to be able to save. It would be Jill, be able to save Jill, right, Flex? Or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, the Modisc saves the opposite character. So if
Yeah,
you're
the
playing
opposite
as Chris,
character.
it saves Jill, but if you're playing as Jill, the Modisc will save Chris. So
Okay.
how you get the Modisc is in the bird statue room is to get the yellow gem, then to create that into a Modisc with the tiger statue. And then you bring that down with you, and then you find 2 more discs in the labs, and then you'll be able to put those discs, floppy discs, I know floppy disks very of the time, into the appropriate computers, and then they'll be able to, or disk readers, whatever they're called, and that will be able to open the door to
I'd like to
save
bring up
Jill or Chris.
something
What's
real
that?
fast, Flex. So KingWolf used 3 different grenades for those zombies to avoid having to use the fuel canteen. That's really neat strat. I haven't seen that yet. And they will be gone. Their heads explode after that grenade pops. So that's an
Yeah.
extremely neat strat that he's doing.
Yeah. Oh, did he get hit by a?
Oh, he got hit by the shock from that grenade. Oh, that's bad
Yeah,
luck.
because there's a delay in the top of
Oh,
the grenade if you don't shoot it. Um, it's very hard to know when that grenade will go off. So he ran right back into the blast of it, so that does count as a
that
hit.
does count. Yeah. KingWolf gets 1 hit. That's bad luck.
Yeah, if you run back through a door, then the grenades used will automatically detonate. So you don't have to worry about that happening if you were to run back through a door somewhere. But that zombie was so close to all the doors that wasn't a possibility.
No, it was just
It just had to
it's a really bad angle. It's just one of those
Yeah, but
things.
it was just bad luck, really, because you can't really tell when that thing's going to go off, unless
Yeah,
you have a lot of experience and you have a stopwatch or something.
right.
All right. Oh, we see Chris running around the middle area, the middle island of that the lab. He's just basically luring the tyrant around.
Yes.
Takes 7 shotgun shots to eliminate the tyrant. And he doesn't forget to pick up
Nice.
that key. Now there's a
GG.
lab key right on the ground there. It's available on any percent, but on if you opt to save Rebecca with Chris, or if you save Barry with Jill, that key is it's just not going to be there. So it's important to remember which run you're doing, so you need to pick up that key or not. Because if you get all the way to the end of the lab, you don't have the key to open the door. So you got to go all the way back.
Right.
I've done that a couple times. All right, so Leon is finishing up his run. I believe he's going for the any percent. So Chris normal any percent, that is the category he is finishing up on. I believe he took out the zombies. Yes, he did. So he's got a clear path to the end. So on the any percent category, you do not have to fight the Super Tyrant at the end. The Super Tyrant is triggered by saving Rebecca with Chris, or saving Barry with Jill. So the Super Tyrant fight is like an extra Tyrant fight at the end on the helipad, which is not there on any percent. Yeah, it's a tough fight. It's pretty tough. Requires about 20 shotgun shots to take that Tyrant down, and a rocket launcher.
Yeah, big GGs to Leonhardt. He had a really good day. I mean,
fantastic. Let's see. Let me see what his stats were. One hit.
Yep.
One hit. So he is going to finish in first place for this run.
Yeah, he'll be first. Big GGs. That's it. He's happy about it too. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, congratulate.
Nice.
Man,
Chris
everybody go do that.
There too.
I think he knows it. I think he knows he finished in first. See what his time is. 1:36:43. That is a very impressive time.
That is really, really good. Good job.
Very impressive. So for those who don't know, a speed run for this game, I ran this game primarily on console. So a speed run on console would take about an hour 30, and then my no damage runs would take about 45 extra minutes. So on PC, a speed run for Chris any percent on normal would be about an hour roughly. So he took only about 36 more minutes than what a speed run would do, and he did like a one hit run. So that's very impressive.
Yeah, it really is. And it's just taking one hit in this game, guys. That's really, really, really difficult. Even more than one hit. I mean, even a little bit of hits is still difficult. It's just, it's just a tough game at times.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's one thing about this is a lot of speedrunners will question, well, in this game you don't take a lot of hits. In a speedrun, traditionally you might take around maybe 5 to 10. So why don't you use speedrun strats in your no hit runs? Well, here's the thing. You need to be as safe as possible, and there's a few enemies that have great chances of hitting you, so you don't want to take that risk. And another thing is, Cruzman is, even if something is 99% safe, on the one time you're on a good pace, it's going to hit you.
Yep.
So you need to create your strategies that are as safe as possible. Now the speedrun strats, you can incorporate some of them if they're safe enough or if you're comfortable with them. Like to me, that would be a really good way to go about it, is to cross-reference doing speedruns or no hits. No matter which one you're doing. If you're doing no hits, I recommend watching speedruns. If you're doing speedruns, I recommend watching no hit runs. I recommend watching Yes, that's right. I recommend watching every type of run so you know what different people are doing and different strategies, so you can just have an open mind for what you want to do.
Absolutely. You can mix your strats in. I think that's the beauty of this particular run, is it's not just so straightforward, I guess, per se. It's you've got you've got a lot of different things you can do. Personal preferences. Like we noticed KingWolf used a grenade on every single zombie up there. I love that strat. He kind of got unlucky on it, but I thought that was a really impressive strat.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's the neat part about these particular runs is you're not going to get the same thing.
And as you can see, everybody's on different parts of the game, so they're going at their own pace. So there's a lot of differences in what they're doing, and wow, and it's just impressive to watch.
It is.
Looks like some players are going for different endings. I believe that King is going for the best ending, so that's going to be exciting to see because he's going into different rooms that you wouldn't go into in an 80% run like how Chris did.
That is hype because now we get to see the tyrant fight. You guys will be able to see the tyrant fight upstairs. Did King get hit just now? Oh no, he didn't. Okay, I thought
No,
he
he
was hurt.
is a camera angle.
That was close.
Yeah, those chimeras in this room. The first one near the nitro, that one's a tricky one, but the rest of them are relatively safe.
And I haven't been able to see where Foe is on his item management, so I'm just waiting to see where Foe is at here.
All right, so Foe opted to take the long way around to go to Yawn. Very smart maneuver. KingWolf taking on the first Tyrant fight.
As Wesker says, isn't it beautiful? Yeah, it's real pretty, Wesker. Real pretty. Gorgeous.
So yeah, he's just running around that first set of tubes, and you can get off 1 to 2 shots every single time you change the angle. So around every single corner, he's not going to be able to catch it. So eventually you'll be able to eliminate him.
Yeah, it's actually magnificent. That's right. I messed that up.
Yeah, the design of that area it's great. You don't use it in a speed run, but in a no damage run, that's definitely the way to go. All right, so he goes to pick up Rebecca. Something interesting about the differences between Jill and Chris is if with Chris, you can go straight to the door and Rebecca will wake up. But with Jill, you have to go wake up Barry. I guess he's just really tired.
He had a rough night.
He did. He had a rough. I mean, everybody did.
Everybody.
Look at this place.
Bloodbath. Okay, so yeah, Wolf's gonna go ahead and save his partner there. I'm glad Wolf's doing this. We're gonna be able to see that rooftop fight. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Now, Flex, go if you wouldn't mind, maybe explain to him, you know, when he's gonna wait, because some of them might be unfamiliar with that for the Rockets.
Okay, so there is the normal way that people fight it, which is you use about 18 to 21 shells with Chris, and then it'll drop a rocket. So you go pick up the rockets, and then the rocket will take either 1 or 2 usages to eliminate the tyrant, because the tyrant can block the rocket. So there is an alternate strat where you wait out the timer. So the timer starts at 3 minutes for this fight. At 30 seconds, the rocket launcher will drop. Now I'm not sure if you need to do 1 hit of damage or 2 hit of damage, but in my runs it was at least 2. But another factor that factors in is you need to be into that fight for 15 seconds. So from the time you drop the initial signal rockets down to when the rocket launchers will drop, there needs to be a bare minimum of 15 seconds that pass. Okay? So although those rockets normally drop at 30, if let's say you drop the initial signal rockets at 40 seconds, the rocket launcher will not drop until 25 seconds. So you must wait out a 15-second time period. So you can't just drop off the signal rocket right at 31 seconds and be like, okay, fight's over. Nope, you got to wait it out. And I think you might have to do 1 or 2 shots of damage on the tyrant in order for the signal to drop.
Yeah, and he's got big charges too that you have to observe.
He does. He's got big charges. So minimizing the time in that fight is very ideal because you don't want to be in that fight for longer than you have to. All right, so he's opting to wait out the timer. So yeah, even with this strat, there are no guarantees. I know in one of my runs, I dropped the rockets off at like 45, 46 seconds, and as I was leaning down to pick up the rocket launcher, the tyrant decided to charge. And if you go into the animation to pick up the rocket launcher and the tyrant charges at you, you basically are stuck and you won't be able to dodge out of the way if it's a charge attack in time.
Right.
All right, so Fofo is on the puzzle. Now this puzzle is a pain.
Yeah, and everybody's
Because
got their own way of doing it. There's really not a right or wrong way, just whatever's easiest for you.
yeah, I believe that you can just angle it differently, but I think the pieces basically fit in the same exact way at each angle. But yeah, it can be a real pain whenever you're trying to squeeze that last piece in, but then you gotta unorganize and reorganize.
Yeah, it has to sometimes it just has to be exact. And other times you can get it without a problem and it'll work for
Yeah,
you. It's just
yeah.
just one of those
So like
things.
what I've noticed some people do is they think new players, they think that you gotta really squeeze them in there when there's a little bit of leeway. If you press the A button down, you can actually push the pieces in a little bit farther into like the edges. It'll slide in a little bit farther. So it gives you a little bit more room that way.
See that he's waiting the clock out here,
All
just
right,
like
so
we
we
do
waited
in
for
Atlanta.
45. Fantastic. All right, sometimes the tyrant will grab Rebecca there. So that's why I said about 1 to 2 shots is because he might try to choke slam Rebecca, and that's not what you want.
No, then you'll have
So
to
as you
shoot
see,
unless you want best ending.
yeah, because then he will basically take her out and that's not what you want. So you can see that the tyrant is walking towards Rebecca. That is very good because he slowly walks towards her, and sometimes he will just charge directly at Chris while you have the rocket. Then you got to dodge out of the way. So him walking towards Rebecca, that's kind of what you want.
Big GGs to KingWolf.
Yep, very good game. How many hits did he have? Let's see here. 4 hits, or is
Yeah,
it 5 because of the explosion?
did we get that counted? I thought I mentioned that. I don't think
Yeah,
we got.
I don't think it was. I think he had 4 going into the lab, and then that was the 5th
Yeah.
one.
So yeah, it's actually 5 total hits for KingWolf. GG's KingWolf. Very well played. I loved
Yes,
his
great job.
loved some of his strats and
Yeah,
hence
they
the
were
cool best
fantastic.
ending.
I might just use them myself.
This
So
is a
yeah,
scene that I don't
hopefully.
get to see very often for my runs. I really enjoy
Oh
watching it.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, lots of cool strategies going on today. So hopefully, if there's somebody out there who may feel discouraged in trying a no hit, no damage run, they get some ideas and maybe feel inspired to try it out themselves because they're seeing 4 different routes and 4 different great ways to be able to achieve this run. So they can mix and match these strategies. They can come up with their own strategies. So hopefully this
Absolutely.
provides some inspiration to somebody out there who's thinking about trying this. Because I know a lot of people are very easy to say, there's no way I can do that. There's no way I can do this. But if they put enough time into it, they can figure something out for themselves.
Oh yeah, great run so far. And it's been fun so far. It's just been a lot of cool strats and we came
Yeah,
into this thinking these runs are going to be completely different, and that's pretty cool.
yeah, that's
Not
cool.
going to get the
It's
same.
nice to not see the exact same strategies and the exact same thing over and over again. Like it's nice to see stuff like this. So a 147, that's a very good time for a Chris best ending, let
I
alone a
agree.
no damage.
Yeah, GG's to you, King Wolf. That was very fun to watch.
So yeah, we're about 2 hours in, and oh, I got a message saying join us and following KingWolf. Okay. Yeah, everybody follow him. Got a lot of accomplishments. He has 6 world firsts, 7 or not 6 world firsts, but 4 world firsts, 17 verified runs. A lot of great things. See
Oh, that
Fofo.
jump. That
Yeah,
jump
he's
on the hunter,
taking
man.
out the hunter, trying to do its parkour. But yeah, you would think that a no damage run, no hit run would take much longer. You think it would take hours and hours to do, but honestly, it doesn't take much longer than a speed run.
Just a lot more safety strats and ways to avoid any damage.
Yeah, like that's where that extra time is coming from,
Yeah.
is from the extra routing, the extra picking up items, the extra safety. So it's not like you're just walking through the game. You know, you can still go at a pretty steady pace.
Absolutely. Okay, so we got Fofo here. He's on his way to put up the battery. I think he killed the corner snake, so I don't think he'll have to worry about that. Uh-oh. He's poisoned. Oh, he got hit. Okay, that's 2 hits. So Fofo will be at 7 total. And KingWolf is at 5. I don't think that hit was ever added. Thank you.
You know, what would be interesting, Cruz. I'm wondering if this is okay, but I'm thinking, what if we get one of the runners who finished up in here so we can ask him a few interview questions, like what do you think of your run and what was your thought process? I think that would be interesting.
Oh, yeah, that'd be completely up to Arisario. I'd leave that up to
Yeah,
him.
yeah, like
I don't mind.
yeah, I wouldn't mind that. It'd be cool to see their perspective and get their thoughts.
So I think he's still I think yeah, he's still in caution, but if he stays in this poison stage much longer, he's gonna be back down to orange. And then he'll have to
Yeah, yeah, because
get
the
nerfed.
poison's gonna slowly drain away that health. It takes quite a bit of time. I think it does 1 HP for every so often. So it's with Jill's 960 hit points, that's gonna take a while to whittle down, but it's gonna whittle down.
Looks like Jill's having the trouble with the crank here.
Is it?
Oh,
Let's see here.
okay, maybe it was just a
Yeah, that angle is very tricky because you got to get right on that crank, or else it's not gonna work.
yes, it's really tough. Yeah. I think yeah, he's gonna go get an herb over here. Maybe not. I thought there were some herbs over there. Okay.
Yeah, on
Okay, yeah,
normal
he is.
there are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, on normal there's a blue and a green.
Blue and green, yeah, that's correct.
So yeah. So it's very disheartening whenever you know there's a blue herb in a certain location, but then you realize I'm playing on hard mode or real survival or whatever the case is, and that item's not there, or if you picked it up previously, and then you realize, hey, that item's not there, so it's just I got to deal with my situation for a bit longer.
Right.
But thankfully, there should be some alleviation for a situation coming up. There should be some blue herbs soon. Fofo is currently at 7 hits. All right.
Hey, thank you so much for the kind words, Freeman. We are enjoying ourselves as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right, so I hear about the interview, but that would be awesome. But unfortunately, we are on time, and I believe we will have to just stop right now and prepare for the next round. Unfortunately.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and end it right now.
Yeah, I
All
will
right.
go and talk with
Understandable.
Foforiel.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to say a big thanks to you, Arisario, for inviting us. It's always an honor
Yeah,
to
thank you.
help out with the Resi community. And
Yep.
thank you,
Thank you
chat,
guys for being here.
hosting.
Thank you to all the runners. Thank you all the viewers. Thank you to Cruzman for being my commentary partner and all that.
Likewise.
Yeah, thank you, thank you both for being here. It's an honor to have you here.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
We'll see you guys. Bye.
Yeah, we hope everybody has a happy Halloween.
Yeah, we'll be back in 10-15 minutes with Tormented Souls.
All righty.
All right. Well, make sure to check that out. So that sounds interesting.